There's so many more factors to it than that. And the untold story about this is it's a cultural reset. A younger generation is starting to emerge with new and different outlooks, new norms, new potential. The communities that they're in, you're seeing them wanting to invest in their communities. They want to get things that are local anchors like schools. There's renewed interest in libraries, civic institutions that they're changing that they want to see reflect them. They're improving outcomes and they're rebuilding trust amongst the younger generations with each other, you know, but the real world, fewer people participate in civic groups. It's growing in certain areas, but fewer trust their neighbors. A lot of us feel disconnected. I know I feel disconnected. I've become a hermit in a lot of ways. Yet young people are organizing differently. It's digital activism, side hustles, local innovation. This activism is how we may reshape how we belong. But the true question is, can these social networks replace the old ones and give birth to a renewed sense of community and purpose? My opinion is, again, I'm not the whole end all be all, just literally an opinion. We need to find ways to merge old versus new, right? Like, how do we get get people to connect outside of here, right? Like, you do that event on Facebook and people actually show up, right? And we connect with each other rather than I'd rather lay here, be unproductive, and I'm guilty of it, and stare into space and waste away hours of my life and then nothing got done. We got to get away from that. I got to get away from that. I have to do better on, what a lot of this is meaning, right? Like, we really got to look at the meaning for a lot of these things. The political fissures that are happening weakens trust in both institutions and in one another. More important than the institutions is our ability to look at one another and agree that the sky is blue per se. I'm paraphrasing here, right? That means a whole lot more than these institutions. Those institutions come second except for us. We come first. We come before these institutions as individuals. We have to learn how to trust each other again. And part of learning how to trust each other again is remembering that just because we don't view things the same way as someone, we don't agree with them politically, don't even agree with them politically, even vehemently disagree with them, it doesn't mean that they're a bad person. Doesn't mean we can't find a way to agree with them on something. Doesn't mean we can't sit down and have a coffee or a beer or whatever, talk about the good times, right? You don't have to have political agreement to have that. And if we really focus on doing that, we can get back to this trust we would have in one another. I use the analogy of Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan all the time, bitter political enemies, but they had dinner constantly. They respected each other as men. The economic chastism is deepening the division by our opportunities, our asset ownership, and where you're at, how you connect, right? And a lot of that boils down to really people look at the government debt. It's killing you. It's killing you. It's killing your ability to buy groceries. But they're not going to tell you that because then they would have to control spending. And then they'd be like, oh, everything's going to fall apart. Well, guess what? When Bill Clinton controlled spending and raised taxes just a little bit because they had to pay for some things, all of a sudden the economy boomed and the dollar was worth something again. It's like magic. You don't believe me? Just look at history. The better a government's budget is balanced, the better buying power you have and the better standard of living you have. They talk about how our things have gone down over the past 40, 50 years, right? Well, look at the value of the dollar, but, Gen Z is showing us that there's new political identities out there, right? 1 in 3 identify as independent. Many reject party loyalty, but millennials and Gen X don't. A lot of us, I should say, are so aligned that we'll lose everything we have in terms of social friendships to prove our point. I'm guilty of that to a degree, but I have tried to get away from it so much, and I'm going to keep trying. I'm not a perfect person.